I'm really happy with the blending on her face, Psylocke. I think it looks really good, and her butt cheeks look good too. And that's important, you know, if you're gonna paint a model, make sure you spend the time and get good looking, well painted, well blended butt cheeks. Welcome back to the channel. Today I am super excited because Kim is away, and wait. The reason I'm excited is because Kim's away. I'm excited because I'm going to show you my miniatures, which she wouldn't really be interested in. So I'm going to do it because she's away. You shouldn't get excited when your partner's away because that's mean. These two aren't related, okay? I'm excited because I get to show you my miniatures, you know, and I can do things around the house that I couldn't normally do when she's here. Like, I don't know, like, I'm not even wearing pants. All right, let's begin. Okay, so the top shelf is all Infinity. I love Infinity. Infinity is not a miniature game that I would recommend for beginners. Absolutely not. It is incredibly complex, but I love these miniatures. I love how they're all metal. There's something about the heft, I think, of a metal miniature. It just feels far more tangible, if that makes any sense, you know, because it has weight. I have here on the left is the Combined Army faction. They're kind of like these like cool alien Borg type people who like go around the world and like trying to assimilate other races and bringing them all into this like horrible evil collective. And then moving along we have Ariadna. Ariadna is really cool. It's basically like American military, but like because Infinity is all futuristic, whereas Ariadna is like, I don't know how the lore went, so it's just kind of cool to see like dudes with shotguns and machine guns taking on like guys with like plasma rifles. It's neat. It's really neat. Oh, and I love these cool, what the hell are these things? Werewolf guys. I don't know what they're called. I can't remember what the game calls them. But look at them, they're like giant werewolves. And these are the ones that like I spent a lot of time on. I wanted to make sure that they were like really good because they're just so huge and they take up so much space on the battlefield. And the piece de resistance, this is I think he's called Van Sant, I think. He's the best. He's the best character. He's basically like a paratrooper that I think is based and modeled after some character in a movie. I want to say Matthew McConaughey or something in Reign of Fire. I don't know, there's some sort of character this guy is based after. I just know that whenever we play, I always annoy my buddy because the character comes in later in the game. And so then what I'll do is I'll play on my phone AC/DC's Back in Black whenever he's about to make his appearance. And it irritates my friend, and I like that because he usually does a bunch of damage and kills a bunch of his dudes. And that's funny to me. And then perfectly sandwiched in the Ariadna, the basic Ariadna army. I think Eugene is what they're called. And I put them all in yellow. This guy here, he can transform. And this is what sold me on Infinity. I don't remember, I was at like a store and I was watching people play. And a dude was playing with this guy and he replaced the model with a dog. And I was like, and I just kind of wandered over and I saw him do that. I was like, why did you replace the model? Oh, by the way, my name's Mike. Sorry to bug you. And he was like, oh, they transform. And he like showed me stuff and he showed me what some of the other powers are. And I was just like, I have to have this. I have to have this transforming dog character. I actually these were like the first models I bought, but then I didn't buy the army that surrounded them. I just bought these two models. Because at the time I wasn't really playing many miniature games. So this next shelf, we're gonna keep between you and me. We're not gonna tell Atomic Mass Games, okay? This is really important because like 90-something% of these miniatures are all 3D printed. They are proxies that I use. I bought the base set of Marvel Crisis Protocol, and then I bought like the odd miniature here and there. I have Kingpin, and I have a few other models that I purchased upstairs. But most of this stuff is just 3D printed, and then I use to play. You know, if you're watching this Atomic Mass Games, I'm sorry. Please don't send your lawyers. We're poor. Sometimes we're poor, and we can't afford everything. Okay, we can't buy everything, but I do love the product and I do support it when I can. Yeah, plus a lot of these sculpts, I just think are better. I think are better than the original sculpts. So like the Kingpin, The Kingpin, I was like, this is really good. You know, I'll show you the Kingpin. You've definitely seen this model before. Just a beautiful, beautiful model. I love it. It just perfectly captures Kingpin. And the 3D base, this base was 3D printed as well. I don't remember what it came from. It was like some other STL package. And I basically just like cut it up in like a 3D modeling program or something, and then just printed it off and then painted it up. You can see I got that cool marble flooring and stuff. Yeah, he looks good. I'm really proud of this one. Here is, of course, the infamous Stan Lee on a park bench. This is not a miniature per se, this is like just terrain that I use in most of my games of Marvel Crisis Protocol. I like him because he gets thrown at people, and there's just something really amazing about throwing Stan Lee at people, you know, like Excelsior, and you just toss him. I love it. Some of these models you could see are a little scandalous, like Storm, for example. She's looking a little like swimsuit, you know, Sports Illustrated swimsuit model. But I like it because it comes from the comics where they went to some sort of weird primal land. It was cool, and I remember it as a kid. All right, moving on to the next shelf, we have Moonstone. Moonstone, oh, I love Moonstone. I have tons and tons of unpainted Moonstone models because with Moonstone, I make sure I spend a lot of time with each model, not just the painting itself, but the base as well. For me, I don't know why with Moonstone, but for me, I really want the base to tell a story that fits the character. Like, for example, you can see Mama, I think her name's Mama Gimbal. She's a gnome. She looks so upset, you know? Like she was just judging people. So I really wanted it to be like, oh, she's just in the kitchen and she was making like a Thanksgiving turkey or something in this stove here, and she's got her groceries out and she's got dinner already, but the gnomes that that are in her family are like out doing other stuff, and she's just sitting there. She's just mad. She's fuming. She's like, if you don't get in here, shit's gonna get cold, and I'm pissed. This comes from Batman the Miniature Game. Of course, here's Batman himself. That base isn't 3D printed. That base is, I believe I used styrofoam for that base. Unfortunately, Batman the Miniature Game, I don't think I've played it for like 4 years maybe. I'm not sure, it's been a long time. Oh God, I'm so irritated with Batman the Miniature Game because they released some sort of new set, right? And it went around with a new rule set. And I think I swear to God, it was within a year and a half, maybe a year, they released a whole new set with a whole new set of rules. And people were pissed. And I remember going on to like their Facebook group and their Discord group, and I was pretty civil. Like I was just like, hey, there doesn't seem to be any word as to why this has happened. You know, are there upgrade packs we can purchase for our miniature cards? Because obviously most miniature games, they come with cards that you can play along with the miniature. And like nobody would answer. And eventually I just got banned. I got banned from them all. And I know what you're thinking, like, oh, he was probably talking shit and stuff. I wasn't. They literally just banned me for asking the question. I guess because they get it all the time. And that was really unfortunate. So it just made me feel bitter about the whole thing. Malifaux. Malifaux is my favorite miniature game. This is the game that I just always have a blast painting and playing. And what's funny is like, even though it takes a long time, unfortunately, it's usually like a 3-hour game whenever I play, but I love it. I love it so much. And I love that the models are so like kooky and crazy. Like here's the Neverborn people. And this is the Dreamer. And he's like this like little boy who's, I hope I get this right, whose dreams essentially manifest into the world of Malifaux, because the Dreamer exists in our world, in the real world, but his dreams manifest into Malifaux. So all these like nightmares essentially start cropping up, and he's able to command them through his dreams. And it's so cool. Like it's so neat. It feels so different. Yeah, and a lot of these ones are pretty old in terms of like when I painted them. It was pretty early in my painting, I don't know what you want to call it, career, I guess. But I'm still really happy with them. I think one of the things that I didn't know back then and I'm still struggle with now is saturation. I have a tendency to like desaturate everything. Is that the right term? When you bring down the color on something, everything just kind of ends up looking washed out. And it's unfortunate because I think Malifaux should be colorful. That's what I want from Moonstone too. I want Moonstone to be like super colorful. And I think I've achieved that on some of these models, but then there's other models that just, they look a little washed out. Like here, the Widow Weaver, I think I did a good job in maintaining the color of the Widow Weaver. Again, it's like this really cool, creepy model. She's like some sort of like spider person who like masquerades as like a young maiden. And I don't know, she controls puppets or something, but she's just cool and she looks neat. Oh, here in the next shelf, guess what? It's more Malifaux, because I have a ton of Malifaux stuff. This one, I don't remember what this faction is called, but this faction is the one that's like a little less pulpy if that makes sense. They're a little less fantasy orientated. They're more a little grounded in reality. And then the goblins are kind of like this like silly faction. These ones are really old. This was actually, I think, one of the first factions I ever painted in Malifaux, which would have been like 5-6 years ago. I'm not sure. It's been a long time. So unfortunately, don't judge me on my goblins. My goblins aren't particularly good, but I did the best I could. And then moving on, we have my Hot Wheels. We have, these cars are for Gaslands. And Gaslands, if you've never played Gaslands, you really should. You really should play Gaslands. Even if you're a board gamer, you should play Gaslands because it's just an awesome party game. You go around and you shoot other people and you like race and stuff and drop oil slicks and fire bombs at people. It's basically it's like Mario Kart, but like in tabletop form. It's super fun and it's super simple. All you need is a book. So you go and you buy the book online, right, the manual. And actually, I don't even sure you need to buy the manual. I think he just offers it as a PDF. But most importantly is you head down to your local convenience store or Walmart or wherever, dollar store, and you buy Hot Wheels cars or any sort of miniature cars. And that's it. That's your miniature. And you can just paint them up however you want. I like to kit bash them, so I'll 3D print like guns and stuff like that and start gluing them all on. And then finally, the last shelf, I have Aristea. Aristea, I think I bought this like day one, the second it came out. And I don't think I spent a lot of time painting them, unfortunately, because I was so excited to play them. And I refused to play Aristea without actually painting the models. So I guess I slap chopped it. Is that the term people use now? I don't know. It seems like a dumb term to me, but I guess I slap chopped most of the models. I saved the most tragic thing for last. This is the game that got me into miniature gaming in the first place. I was at a convention. I don't remember which convention it was. Maybe it was Origins or Gen Con. But I was at a convention. I remember seeing the guys from Steamforged, and I was kind of wandering over because I'm a board gamer. At heart, I'm a board gamer, and so I was there looking for board games. And I saw him playing Guild Ball. I saw them all playing Guild Ball, and one of the guys sort of beckoned me over because he could tell I looked interested. Because that's always something you kind of like look at from like the corner of your eye. You're like, oh, miniature gaming. Yeah, that's not for me. But this time I lingered, and so he drew me over, and he started like showing me the rules, and he let me score a goal and stuff, and it was just fun. That was such a good game, and the models were like so cool. And at this point, I wasn't really painting a lot of stuff that was outside of board games. That's sort of how I cut my teeth, was I painted board game miniatures. Problem with Guild Ball is that like, if you don't know the story of Guild Ball, essentially what had happened is, I guess nobody really knows what happened except Steamforged, because basically we were just told that they just weren't gonna do Guild Ball anymore. They're like, yeah, sorry, we just don't wanna do it anymore. And it would be fine if, when they said that, they would have just been honest and be like, we find making these shitty board games based on video game intellectual properties much more financially lucrative, than making this like really awesome miniature game. So we're gonna drop the miniature game and focus on these crappy board games. I think if they would just been honest and said that, I think people would have been like, oh, okay, yeah, all right, that makes sense. But instead, they released these like public statements that were like basically insinuating that it was the community that was the reason why they were no longer making Guild Ball. They said that people had become like too competitive, and so they couldn't balance the game properly. Like their own errors, their own mistakes, their own inability to properly balance a game and not make all the characters samey, that was blamed on the consumer. Yeah, and people were pissed. I'm so pissed to this day that like I will never purchase any of their products. I'll play them just to laugh at how shitty their board games are, like the Dark Souls game, which is complete garbage. But yeah, God, what a freaking waste of a great IP. And that about wraps it up. I know if you're not a miniature gamer, this might not be particularly interesting to you, but I liked showcasing my miniatures. I'm really proud of them. I put them in this like cool glass case. I think it's the Billy bookshelf or something. But yeah, I'm really happy with my work and I'm happy with my progression as a painter. I find it really fulfilling to hang on to all the miniatures that you paint and just kind of see your progression throughout the years. And so that's why I have this here. So I can see like, oh yeah, that I painted, 2 years ago, that I painted like 8 years ago. It's just a lot of fun. And it's kind of a conversation piece because people will come in, guess, and after saying like, wow, this is a really geeky house, they can see the miniatures and be like, oh yeah, that's also really geeky, but also kind of cool. So I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. Take care, guys. Bye.